there's a federal court in Maryland that says schools do not have to tell parents when there's LGBTQ curriculum in Head Start, pre-K, kindergarten to fifth grade programs. And parents have no right to opt out of said programs if they don't want their kids to be involved. That's what the court said. What do you make of that?
It's
Rick?
disgusting, I'm telling you. Teaching the system for 30 years now. I started very early in my 20s. And it's getting worse. The chancellor in New York City sent a memo with new rules at the beginning of the school year stating that the new norms, which have to do with that, with teaching transgenderism and all that, K through 12. Mm-hmm. And now I heard that the Assembly is planning on passing a law. There's a law in the Senate, actually, it's in the state, in the floor, which they were planning to do the same thing as in Maryland. So I urge every parent, as a school teacher in the public school system, I'm urging every parent, get involved. If you need to do what everybody else on the left does, which is make picket lines right in front of schools, okay? Blast horns on these people. Don't let them sleep. Do the same thing they do to you. These are your kids. I'm begging you. I have my hands tied as a teacher. I don't do it, but my school's already starting. There's no curriculum right now. But for example, books are starting to get into the library. I tell you right now, the teachers are far left. In my school, for example, might be 2 to 10. So only 2 out of every 10 might be, but they're controlling everything because they're getting, like that lady said a few quarters back, is power. They're in power, and they do whatever they want. And when they do things that are out of, breaking the law, there are no consequences. So I am urging the parents, every listener, if you have a friend, a mother, sister who has kids, start organizing picket lines right in front of the schools, right in front of City Hall, right in front of the UFT, the unions, and blast the horns. Let them know that these are your kids. The state does not own your kids. And what you need to do is start thinking. If you're a leftist, start thinking and start voting for people that will give them at least school choice. We got to get these people out. It's ridiculous.
Mm. Rick, I got a lot of questions for you, but I'll keep it short. I know you probably got to get to school.
Yeah.
30 years. Did you ever think in 1994 that this would be a thing?
Never in my life. Never. And let me tell you one thing. I figured back then that there were more leftists inside the schools than now. Yet now you have all this. This is crazy. You are right. Never in my life I thought that we were going to see this. Never. Let me say something quickly. They don't allow me to. If a kid asks me in the classroom the meaning of Christmas, I am not even allowed to mention it. The meaning of Easter, I'm not allowed to mention it. However, if I talk about anything that has to do with this crazy, because this is crazy, the crazies are running the asylum. Ideas, no problem. So please, I'm begging your listeners and anybody else, start forming picket lines, go in front of the schools. Do not allow these people to get away with it.
But Rick, they're gonna put my face on the news, exactly. And it's gonna be.
And it's your kids.
But I'm gonna be.
They're gonna put their faces in the news, correct? But
I'm gonna lose my job. People think I'm mean.
Man, this is coming from just at least listen to me. I'm a school, and many teachers in my school feel the same way. So I'm not alone in this. It's just crazy. I'm telling you, take it from a person from the inside. Take your kid, either take them out of your school, or start organizing big time. Make them uncomfortable. And it's not a matter of being mean to people at all. I mean, let's face it. All kids of all ages should be allowed to enjoy playing and whatnot. It doesn't matter. But this kind of teachings have no place in K5, even K8. I'm sorry, no place.
No. I'll let you go. What grade do you teach?
I teach 5th grade now.
Oh, beautiful. Wow, that's great. That's the trenches, Rick. That is the smelliest.
I'm telling you, I'm planning. Maybe I'm going to have to run. So I don't like politics. Maybe I'm going to have to do it. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, Rick, I'm so glad you're there. Thanks for doing that, man. Thanks for teaching.
Oh, I'm in the trenches. I'm in the trenches.
Yeah, hey, man. I'm glad you're there, Rick. Thank you. No, seriously, thank you, Rick. Like, that's so huge. Like, the influence you're making on these kids it's massive. You're there, man. You're there. We need you there. It's super encouraging that you are. Thank you. Yeah, the kids. Let me go to Cindy here, and we'll reflect on all this. Cindy's in Florida. How are you, Cindy?
Good. What a powerful caller, and he is so right on. You know, we just need to stand firm, stand up, and just say no to this madness, because this should be the red line in the sand for everybody in America when they start coming after our children. And, you know, what gets lost in the conversation is all this LGBT is we have kids that can't even read and aren't even proficient in reading in their own grade. And they have all this time for all this stuff, but yet they can't read, they can't do math, they can't sign their name, they don't know history. What gets lost in all this is they're spending all this time, all this money on all this stuff, and our kids can't even read. Parents have more power than they understand. All they have to do is just say no, like he said. And there's power in numbers. So stand up to it, push back. Yeah. It's absurd. It's lunacy what's happening. It's lunacy. And the majority of the country agrees with your last caller. We need to be no longer silent. The silent majority has to stand up and speak out, and parents have control over their children. Just opt out. I agree with him 100%. 100%. He should be running for school board.
Yes, he mentioned politics. That's a good place to start.
You know,
Cindy, do you have?
I want to mention one thing. We have a $2 billion budget for our county and our school system where I live, and we still have kids that can't read in their own grade level, below proficient. I mean, it's maddening.
That's the most shameful thing, barring 1 million abortions every year. The fact that we have kids who cannot read.
Yeah.
It's like so mind-boggling. Like, it just unbelievable. Do you have any kiddos, Cindy?
Well, I have one grown child.
Yeah. And you were in Florida during COVID, I'm assuming?
Yes.
I mentioned this only because we had young kids during COVID in California. Fortunately, they were way young, like they weren't in school. But one of the years, Jack was in pre-K, I think, in a local school. And we were in California. So masks were a thing. So this whole mask on kids is like appalling. But what a lesson on how the state can impose something so viscerally, obviously, like I don't know, what's that, tyrannical? I don't know, like, it's like appalling and like you have to wrap your face up and eat, pull the mask like to a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old.
You know what's wrong with that?
Never did it in California.
You have to walk in with the mask, but you sit there at a counter and you can eat and take your mask off. I just said no to all of it. I went to stores. I was out shopping. I didn't go down the right way in the aisles. I didn't wear my mask. I just said no.
But I meant this because if you're in California, you say no, your kid's kicked out of school. They're gone. So every single, well, I shouldn't say, I know a couple who left, but almost every single parent rationalized it enough to say, oh, okay, let's just do this. They'll wear it and it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It won't be a big deal. And that's like so discouraging to me how we'll go along with it. People will go along with the tyranny because they don't want to sacrifice.
Well,
I get it.
We have to just stand up and say no to it. That's we have power, we have strength, and we need to get our kids out of these schools. They're just indoctrination. Your kids aren't learning anything. You're spending all this taxpayer dollars, and your kids can't read. They can't do math. They can't. It's appalling to me. I mean, it's inexcusable. And it's about power and control. So just say no. Stand up and say no.